When I was 10, I was at a specialist music school in Edinburgh, and actually I began the violin when I was 4, and I was taught by my father. And then age 7 I went to St Mary's Music School in Edinburgh. Apparently I packed my own suitcase. I was determined that I was leaving home and going to this specialist music school. I think those years from about 7 to 14 were some of my most sort of inspiring years. Just making music with my friends, organizing concerts, playing absolutely everything because I had in my head that there was nothing I couldn't do. Then at age 14 I went to the US. I had the opportunity, whilst I was at the school, I played to this fantastic teacher, Sylvia Rosenberg. She was keen for me to continue studying with her. Age 17 I played to Halida Samilov-Nathyamvar, who was again, fantastic teacher and violinist who was working in Moscow, and she invited me to continue studying with her. I'd always had an interest to study in Russia. Both my parents had studied in Russia, and so that was where I continued my studies. It was an incredible time. It really was, and I think during those years, certainly I built even more resilience, but I learned how to appreciate very small things in life until 1995 when I left and I went to London. I did a year at the Royal College with Andrzejewski, and then was very fortunate to be offered an initially assistant teaching post at the Yehudi Menuhin School, where I initially assisted Lydia Morkovich with her teaching there. And met Madonna and was meant to continue working with Madonna in the US. I worked with her for a couple of weeks every day, and unfortunately it was meant to be for a movie, the 50 Violins, but it all fell through. In the end, Meryl Streep made the movie, but she was not going to be playing the violin for the movie, so no longer needed the violin teacher. But it was an amazing experience, and just working with someone with that level of commitment and determination was really inspiring, actually. So I had moved everything up to Glasgow, up to Scotland, which is where my parents were, and decided to stay here. And I just started to get extra work, grew my own sort of students, and that was how I basically started working here at the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland. Since then, I have been appointed Head of Strings. I still have a full class of students, but I also do some work in the junior divisions. I still do a lot of performing. Perform with my husband, who is a piano accordionist, and recently did Beethoven Concerto with the Malta Phil. So yeah, I do a sort of many sort of different activities that sort of leaves me with, you know, a very small amount of time to really practice, but I'm sort of managing the balance, I think, right now. And actually, when you're working with students, I think this is an invaluable way to develop your playing, because you're having to really think and think about ways that you can help them and guide them, and you're often, I find myself reflecting on my own playing, on my own approach to things. So Nikki I met when I was working at the Menuhin School. So Nikki would have been about 10 years old, and actually I used to read her bedtime stories. Yeah. So she was, even back then, she was just so joyous. She was so positive and incredibly talented. Young violinist, and but what I loved and warmed to with Nikki was her sort of warmth and you know, this sort of vibrancy and enthusiasm, and she obviously she still has that today, and that's it's almost sort of infectious, you know, and being around people like that and working with people like that is hugely rewarding. Hobbies, I mean, I love reading. I'm interested in philosophy. I love walking. I love running. I love being in nature. I'm interested in breathing, in meditation. I also just love being with my family. I love being with my boys and husband and just talking and spending time with friends.